Hello and welcome to Life in Vibration Lifestyle Architecture. In this class, we're going to be exploring yoga psychology, and the theme of today's class will be going beyond the physical or the surface. So I'm going to give you an opportunity, if you have not yet, to gather a journal, maybe a special one that you use day to day, or you find a piece of paper, or anything that will work as an extension of your brain in collecting the information that we are going to gather from different modalities and tools like Neurolinguistic programming, talk therapy, visualization, meditation, breathwork, just to name a few, and going internal and external. So we're going to do the work in before we do the work out. Building that flexible mind, then the flexible body. Creating that agility within our mind and agility within our body. So that beautiful blend and that marriage. And bringing the mind and matter together to gather that full sum or that whole sum of yourself and yourselves, which is what I specifically specialize in, cellular health. And so I'm not sure how much it's going to show up, but I'll make sure to add in font and text on the video that at the very top I have the theme. And in our day-to-day, when we can become aware of the broader or larger picture theme that we're going through or level in life, that helps us to keep a better discernment and awareness of what we are then attracting and why we are attracting it, and then how we can better respond to take ourselves out of reactionary states, while also healing from survival states and healing patterns and traits and habits that might be passed down, inherited, or self-created as coping mechanisms that are keeping ourselves and our systems from allowing their natural occurring energies to flow, and in the right energetic hierarchy, allowing the system to regulate and respond and discern through the gathering of all of the information, which takes this term neuroplasticity, the ability to adapt, rewire, and reprogram our minds, as well as exploring epigenetics and looking into our genes and our binary coding, so our X and Y chromosomes and our ones and zeros. And all of that information and giving ourselves the awareness of it acts like a spark that starts to turn on the cells. The first law of energy of our cells of nature is like similar attracts like. So similar frequency or vibration or numerical value will attract the same. So that in itself, in the cells, lets you know that whatever you're experiencing around you, you are carrying within your cells, and this mainframe, this system, this computer is then projecting it around you to let you know what you're carrying, so that you can then shift, alchemize, transmute, release that of what is not aligned, that is what not serving you, that is what is not true. So normally coming from a fear, false-based belief system or mindset. And so as we start to gather this information, the informate ions, our ideas, thoughts, feelings, and actions that are stored within the cell memory or Akashic records, we begin to gain awareness, a mind full of what is going on and why it's happening for us. Take this time to find a seat, a discipline, a place in which we can then start to gather and gain awareness and shift gears from this physical, maybe more sped up state. And we'll do that with the use of our breathing, with breathwork. The quality and quantity of the ideas, thoughts, feelings, and actions, so information we have stored within our cellular memory, and the rate in which we are allowing that to flow and to be processed will therefore make up our cellular vibration or our self-worth. It will also project and affect through our day-to-day and our time and our ability to manage time, and also how we experience time. If it goes by really fast, if it goes by really slow, and how, if I didn't already mark on that, we are able to then best manage our time, and on the broader picture, our time frame, our timeline. So the bigger picture sewing together of all the different stages and ages of our life and our lifetimes. And then we get into the generational influence, which ties together with our genes and the epigenetics and our ancestry, and how cells come from pre-existing cells. And from that awareness, we then learn what is influencing us. We learn about our human behavior and our human nature, why we tick and talk, and how to then best manage ourselves, regulate ourselves, and make then the decisions that allow us to stay in what would be those optimal states of health or being. And so we're functioning, we're enjoying, we're in our purpose, we're healthy, we are successful in the sense of we are understanding our place in this world and what we're going through, and we're using that story to then help ourselves and others. So the balanced state of service to self and others comes from then the understanding of why we're here and our entire human experience. And so that will then very much bring us to that bigger picture theme, which is beyond the surface. And as you're finding your theme for your practice today, you can start by creating a discipline with your physical body, a seat, connecting your root to either a meditation pillow or the earth beneath you, or a yoga block or blanket, and elongating through the spine, pushing down through the sits bones, feeling that bipolar energy as you push down, at the same time lift up through the heart and the crown of the head, and imagine an internal line from your root all the way up through the crown. And then breathe up and down that column, that channel, our main governing energy. And just start to slow down your breathing. Find a drishti, a focal point, something to gaze into, or just close your top eyelid over your bottom completely. And start to notice the physical aspects around you, like scents and smells and sounds, the textures of your clothes against your skin, any physical unnecessary tension you might be holding, like releasing your shoulders or unwinding your jaw, relaxing your forehead, taking a ponytail or any accessory out of your hair and just rubbing out your scalp, circling your neck very lightly, moving your hips from side to side, just minor adjustments as you land here in your body. And be mindful not to compromise your position. Keep tall through that spine by keeping those bipolar energies pulling you down to the ground and then up to the sky. And we break down the word to understand. We got to go under. Go under the rug, what's under the surface, and then we also have to stand up, we have to go above, we have to get into the bigger, broader picture. So that individual persona self has to step out of the way and allow themselves to understand. And with your next breath cycle, just start to ask yourself internally, what is the current theme or level that I'm working through in my life? And intuition, which is our ideas, thoughts, feelings, and actions, that information that's stored in ourselves, comes at a quarter of a second. But then we're going to have all those other trained coping mechanisms and reactions and responses. And that's what we're retraining and rewiring. So when we start to use these modalities and tools and exercises, specifically breathwork, slowing down the breathing, creating a posture for the body, bringing your awareness and your attention and focusing it on the different layers and aspects of your being, from the physical, now going into the emotional, how you're feeling. We'll start to shift us from the conscious mind into the subconscious, and from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. Which within one we're in a state of giving, and the other we're in a state of receiving, which when we're trying to receive information, it would make the most sense, we would go into then the parasympathetic and start to, with our own energy, calm down the noise, the sounds, the projection around us by managing our own internal rate, vibration. And just like on a computer, seeing if we have any open tabs playing that need to be closed. And again, if you're not getting any answer, just ask again, what is my theme or current level? And this is like working out any muscle. We're working the intuition, we're working our spiritual, our mental, and our emotional, our subconscious, our communication and connection to ourself. We're building that relationship, which takes investing in time. The necessary actions and tools. Reaching tall through the spine, grounding through the seat. And then when you're ready, taking that information and writing it down beside theme or in your journal. And if you have not got anything yet, and it can come as a feeling, it can come as a memory, it can come as a vision, it can come as a just knowing or a daydream. You get shown a different spot or memory in your life or incident, which we're going to get into. So do your best to trust that you do know. Ultimately, we always know, and it's we're seizing the disbelieving and releasing all of the belief systems that block us from just a simple knowing and the genes of our own system. And write down that theme or level, and then bring yourself back to your breathing and come into child's pose. You'll sit on your heels. Your knees will be in front of you. You'll create a space for your belly in between, and you'll start reaching from your hips to your heart, and then crawling your arms, leading the heart, reaching the heart forward, casting it, and elongating through the neck, keeping the gaze up, enjoying that stretch until you start to lower yourself down, and you can rest your head on either a pillow or the mat beneath you or a block. You can rest your chin, one cheek, being mindful to then alternate to the other. And we're going to ask ourselves what our intention is for our day, for this level, for this theme. And what does the self need to become more intentional about? That committing to always asking yourself, why? What is my why? Why am I doing this? The intention acting like the air or the idea. And then once you've got your answer, you can slowly start to roll it up through your spine. Neck comes last, and then start to write that down in your journal. And release your legs out in front of you, coming into a forward fold-like position. And once you've done recording that next information, having any props that you might have possible around you that can act just as pillows or blankets can assist you in building support or mound for yourself. And then when you're ready, again, leading with the hips, wiggling your way out, reaching with the heart, casting it forward, creating space in between the legs, even a bend slightly in the knees. And then reaching with the heart as you start to fold forward and land in an edge that feels slightly out of your comfort zone, which will take you out of that zone of comfort and allow for new information and a new experience and fresh air to come in. And then allow your inhale to fill as you reach your heart forward. And on the exhale, just melt slightly into that little bit more space you've created for yourself as you ask yourself what major blocks are affecting you the most right now in life, in this present moment, in this theme, in this level. And just start to pay attention to the information, not forcing it, and allowing that inhale to build and to fill the heart and the brain and the stomach, and the exhale to clear out any debris or obstruction in the way of the information you're also trying to receive, that you're also assisting yourself in getting by applying this pressure to yourselves. You're really utilizing a lot of tools to give yourselves what would be, in a sense, the best chance to not only clear out, but also receive new perspectives, new ideas, new ways of looking at old experiences. And then moving mindfully as we're exiting the rat race and taking back our power, and our schedules slowly start to roll up through the spine. Neck comes last. You can bring your legs into a cross-legged position, grabbing your journal, your paper, and writing down the information that you've collected around your blocks. And then we're going to rise onto our feet and heel toe our feet apart, and we can use a pillow, a block, or a blanket to sit up underneath our sit bones and support us as we come into Balasana or easy squat. And as we're activating the roots, we're going to reach up tall through the spine, slight pull of the core in towards the back to engage the abdomen, relax the jaw, the neck. And then you can bring your hands into prayer position and press your elbows in up your inner thighs, creating the tension between your thighs and your arms, pressing your palms together, feeling the pressure in the inner groin and lower back as you reach up through the spine. Pull down through the sit bone, engage through the core, and then humble your head into your heart, turning back into your breathing, and asking yourselves what time frame in your life is affecting you the most in the here and now. And be ready for that initial response that might start to get drowned out by all those other than trained responses that we're working to retrain by slowing down the system and creating a connection to it. and studying ourselves. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And zoom into your very own ideas and thoughts and feelings that are arising as you ask these questions. Treat it like files coming up on a computer. And you can even look for the folder in which the files are coming from. You can ask. We all receive information in different ways, and learning that is part of the fun, part of the learning how we function as individual, authentic pieces of the collective consciousness in which we are all a direct derivative of. And how genius the cell and the self truly is. And we can give ourselves some sweet relief by starting to stand up very slowly, reaching though, keeping a big bend in the knees, our roots, our bums all the way up to the sky and dipping down into a standing forward fold. You can have a very, very big bend in the knees and rest your chest on top of your knees, and this allows all of the energy and all the blood to flow and pump through as you give a little bend and straighten through the legs, resting the palms of the hands, tucking the chin in towards the chest. And then from here, slowly lower the bum back down. Be slow with raising of the head, as you might have a lot of blood flowing through you. Watch for any dizziness or faintness, which are all signs of just migrating and moving the energies around, which is also something we're intending to do. So that is not something that is a sign of something wrong happening. Just be mindful, move slow, drink water, and lay down if you need to. Take the time to record that information. And we're going to flow onto our knees, coming into tabletop position, lowering the navel all the way down to the earth, reaching the heart through, casting it forward, drawing the shoulders away from one another, and sending your tailbone energetically up to the sky. And from here, curl the toes under, press through the palms of the hands and the balls of the feet, and hover the knees. Pause here, pause for truth. In Leo season, as we ride our dog up to the sky and come into just a very playful downward dog, bending at the knees. And once you've stretched it out just slightly, come into downward dog position. Lower the heels down towards the earth as close as you can. Press down through the palms. Press your chest back towards your thighs. Close your eyes here for a few breaths. Begin to shift your weight forward, coming into plank position, shoulders over elbows, chaturanga, pressing the palms and the feet away from one another to create tension as you lower all the way down to the earth. Bring your arms outside of your yoga mat, pressing the fingertips into the earth, tops of the feet anchoring down to support you. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, ripple down. And inhale back to child's pose. Lowering the forehead down to the earth. Pausing here for a few breaths, allowing that information and the movement to both be migrating, marrying one another. Taking more of a yin-like approach. And what would be more of a broken down step-by-step practice to set the foundation, the base, the structure, to give the theory to what can become a very beautiful self-practice, in which when you are connecting to your body in the morning, you are then also asking these questions internally and begin developing that relationship with yourself and your intuition to get the bigger, broader picture theme and awareness for the day to live then preventatively and prepared to then better respond and break cycles and patterns that you truly are trying to. So making it a lot easier for yourself, simplifying it. From here, begin to roll back up. We're going to come onto the balls of our feet and rest onto our heels, just to apply a little bit more pressure to the roots as that's